headliners, the newsmakers, the political scene, and government issues. These should be our concern. And we're taking you at the forefront. Good morning. I am Attorney Karen Jimeno. Join me at the forefront as we discuss the details of the latest news happening in our country today. Over the weekend, a joint operation of the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission and the National Bureau of Investigation in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu, netted the first illegal POGO bust in the Visayas. 162 foreign nationals from Indonesia, Malaysia, China, Taiwan, and even Myanmar were rescued from the scam hub. According to the NBI, the raided illegal POGO in Lapu-Lapu City came from another raided POGO in Luzon. Are illegal POGOs coming down south to hide from authorities? Still in Cebu, after exclusively covering the POGO raid in Lapu-Lapu City, is Bilyonaryo News Channel Senior Correspondent Nancy Carvajal. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning, Karen.
Nancy, can you give us details of the raid in Lapu-Lapu City?
Well, it was done afternoon on Saturday, and more than 50 NBI operatives assisted by MIG, the Military Intelligence Group, the PAOCC, led by senior PAOCC officials and its spokesperson and DSWD, barged into the tourist garden hotel, suspected to have housed at least 5 ballrooms of POGO's workers. These workers are reported to be from various countries in Asia.
Nancy, were there any POGO bosses that were also apprehended?
Sorry, can you?
Yes.
I cannot.
Were there?
Please.
Yes, it's okay, Nancy. Were there also POGO bosses that were apprehended during the raid?
Well, the owner of the resort hotel were apprehended, and but there, according to sources in PAOCC, they still have to establish their connection, real connection to the POGO workers and the POGO operation in that resort hotel.
What was the mental and physical state of the workers that were rescued from City Garden Hotel?
Well, actually, when we barged into several ballrooms, they were caught in flagrante. They were like in front of their workstations, and they were, just ordinary office workers, but they were in shorts, in their PJs, hoodies. They were they were so they wore comfortable clothing, as if they're not in their work areas. They look so comfortable, and it's kind of amazing that with their kind of work, they very comfortable at it.
Yes, Nancy, so did they look like they were being rescued? You mean like they look comfortable, but when the raid happened, did they look relieved?
The Indonesians, at least, one of the girls there, she said she's 26 years old though. She said immediately that, so you guys are here. Can we go now? So we're okay. And they claimed they were recruited as restaurant workers through Facebook. But when they got there, they were not given contracts, and they were asked to work on the online scam. And they said they also were promised $1,000 salary a month.
And were they paid their salaries?
Their $100,000 a month salary, and their passports were taken from them, and they were not allowed to leave the premises of the resort hotel.
So was the promised salary given to them, or were they forced to work without pay?
Well, they were promised $1,000 salary, and they haven't. They claim they haven't yet received any money they were promised, and
Would you, yes, go ahead, Nancy.
they insisted they don't have they were not given any contract when they arrived there, contrary to the earlier negotiations.
Nancy, when you were there during the raid, did you also find any living quarters for these workers?
Yes, there were some rooms that looks like there were living quarters, and it was just okay. It's just a normal sleeping rooms.
So they were really being kept in the resort the whole time. Were they allowed to leave?
Well, they said they were not allowed to leave, and in fact, there were Filipino workers, sadly, that they do the purchasing of their personal needs. So um, it was good that at least two or three Indonesians were able to escape and able to report to authorities.
Nancy, when you arrived at Tourist Garden Hotel, did you find anything unusual for the hotel? You know, that considering they were doing POGO operations there, was there something off, like based on your observation?
Yes, when you enter the hotel resort, there's a barge. You know, there's steel barge in front of the and in the entrance, which is unusual because normal hotels there's some security, but this one, it's the security. It's kind of weird that the entrance has grilled bars, and the gate is kind of, if you can already suspect that something is being hidden inside. And when we entered the premises of the garden resort, with the NBI and PAOC, there are no people in the vicinity, and they're all inside the buildings.
And Nancy, can you describe to us the physical condition of the workers? Did they have any injuries, or were there any indications that they were not being treated well, or that they were being physically abused as well?
Well, in that case, there were not any indication of physical abuse or they were physically hurt. In fact, I asked one of the Indonesians if there was like they were hurt or they were assaulted. Well, they said they were not. It's just that their complaint was there's no contract, and it appeared they didn't want what they're doing. It's the indication was they were forced and coerced to do what they were doing, because when we entered into the ballrooms where they were in front of their workstations, these workers quickly yielded. They quickly raised their hands and went to one side of the ballroom, the big ballroom.
Nancy, you said that there were also Filipinos that were rescued. For the Filipinos, they didn't need passports to leave, or they could have asked for help. Were they also being forced to work against their will?
That's the sad part, actually, Karen, because there were like five Filipino women, who claimed they were admins, meaning they take care of deploying housekeeping, and they also said they purchased personal needs of the POGO workers, because these workers are not allowed to leave. So they acted as purchasers. They call themselves admin, and yeah, they're ready. They are allowed to leave anytime. And in fact, they admitted, one of them at least said that she used to work for Lucky's House in Bamban and Porac, Tarlac. before she was hired to work there in the Garden Resort Hotel in Lapu-Lapu City.
So there seems to be a link between the POGO here in Tourist Garden Hotel and the operations in Bamban, Tarlac, considering they also have the same employee, Filipina employee, working in Tarlac and then now working there in Lapu-Lapu City. Were you able to ask this Filipina how much they were being paid?
Well, actually, one told me that they're being paid something like 40,000, but according to some sources, they are being paid more, so between 80,000, the admins at least, between 80,000 and 100,000 pesos. But during the time when I talked to them, they said they haven't received their payment yet, and they're supposed to be get paid on the 5th. So, but that's what the Filipino women told me, that they only received something like 40,000. So when I asked them, then you know that it's what's going on is illegal, but you still work here, and they said that it's better than the minimum wage, because especially the provincial rate is way below 650 pesos.
Do you know who was paying their wages?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Nawala yung
Yes.
signal.
Yes, Nancy. Do you know who was paying their wages? Did they have someone physically also in the compound or in the hotel that would administer and pay the salaries?
Well, I asked that, and they said one of the Chinese.
Okay, so they
First
have like
one.
a more senior boss of a Chinese nationality that was also in Tourist Garden Hotel that would pay their salaries.
Yes, it appeared that way because the ballrooms, or in the rooms where there were workstations, there's a table there that would be an obvious position. You know, the positioning of the table is, it's like there's a manager in that room. I think he or she is the one being referred to as the paymaster of the admins.
And was this boss apprehended during the raid?
I think so, because it's hard to distinguish one from the other, because there were all of them were just wearing shorts, very casual, very casual. Their clothing there is very casual, but you could in the lineup of the the workers, you could see that there's someone that they defer. So I guess at least in one of the ballrooms, I think the manager, or maybe he could be the boss, was apprehended.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for your valuable on-site coverage. More of Nancy Carvajal's exclusive full news report during Newsfeed at noon. When we come back, we'll have Lapu-Lapu City Mayor Ahong Chan right after the short break. To give us more information on the Tourist Garden Hotel illegal POGO hub, we have Lapu-Lapu City Mayor Junard Ahong Chan. Good morning, Mayor Ahong.
Good morning, Attorney Karen. Good morning po.
Mayor, perhaps you can shed light on Tourist Garden Hotel. How long has this hotel been existing?
It was since 2019, no? Exactly, Attorney Karen, January 27, 2019.
And from the start of its operations, has it always operated as a hotel?
There are 6 licenses in the said establishment. One is a hotel, one is a convenience store, one is a mini mart, one is a restaurant, and the other one is a KTV.
KTV. Okay, so among that enumeration, it seems like they never had a license to operate POGOs. So
There's none.
would you
There's
know,
none.
Mayor, if they ever applied for a license to operate as a POGO?
No, there's none.
Okay, so with that, would you know if anyone was aware that it was operating as a POGO or that they had any POGO operations in this hotel?
There's none. There's no operation of POGO as the permit shown that we never issue any POGO license in that said establishment.
Mayor, are there any existing POGO operators in Lapu-Lapu City?
There is no operation, but there is one application for legal POGO. There is one legal POGO, that application, long time, I think, before the president announcement to ban the POGO. So, since they don't have the permit from PAGCOR, we never issued any license of POGO here in Lapu-Lapu City.
Mayor Ahong, in Tourist Garden Hotel, there were over 160 people that were rescued as workers. Would you know if there was any indication or any supervision that would give an indication that there was something unusual going on there? Because the type of nationalities, we even have some people from Indonesia, Malaysia, Burma. They're not the typical tourists that we normally get in the Philippines. So was there any prior monitoring in this hotel that would reveal that there were operations there that were related to POGOs?
Actually, because their business is they're into hotel, so there are tourists that they will check in on their hotels, book on their hotels. So yun ang nakita natin na parang yung negosyo na dahil hotel. So parang wala lang na ano namin merong POGO doon kasi when they started the business, we are monitoring from 2019 up to 2024, we never seen any POGOs or inside the said hotel. So yung mga tourists, parang turista lang na nag-check-in sa kanila because they have the hotel, no? So as you all know that Lapu-Lapu's bread and butter is tourism. So sila, they were accepting tourists to book in their hotel.
Mayor Ahong, with this incident, would you change anything with respect to conducting monitoring of businesses in Lapu-Lapu City? Would you then start monitoring the hotels and other facilities in Lapu-Lapu City to ensure that there's no POGO operation that is being conducted illegally?
Yes. Now that Attorney Karen, that we get an information that some of the workers, personnel in Pampanga, no, with the Alice Go group is now in the city. So before that, I already had a standing order with the PNP to conduct a profiling, not only in the hotel, including the subdivisions and those who are houses in every sitios and puroks in the city, because we will not tolerate any illegal activities in our city. So we have also a joint inspection, regularly joint inspection, together with the BFP, the Bureau of Fire, the City Health, the BPLO, and the OBO, the Suning. So we conducted inspection, and we don't want, now that we know that they're here in our city, we will instructed our police, and we're calling our community to help to report the nearest police station if there is new faces in the area. There's mga bagong nagrerenta sa loob ng mga subdivisions or within the sitios and puros.
Mayor Ahong, would you know who owns Tourist Garden Hotel? Is he someone from Cebu? Is he a Filipino?
The owner of the hotel?
Yes, of Tourist Garden Hotel.
The owner of the hotel is Long Xiao, as reflected in their business permit, is Mr. Long Xiao.
Okay, so he sounds Chinese. Is he a Chinese Filipino?
Yes, he's a Chinese. He's a Chinese. And the tourist garden, he's a Chinese.
Okay, because he has to be at least a Chinese Filipino or a Filipino citizen to own the facility, unless there's a different owner for the land.
It's a corporation, Attorney Karen. It's a corporation. The name of the corporation is ASEAN Golfing International Trade Corporation.
Okay. Last question, Mayor Ahong. In Tarlac and in Pampanga, for those POGO operations that were raided there, it appeared that the local government units may have some knowledge of the operations, and they were able to build and operate with the knowledge of the LGUs. Can you confidently say that here, in this case, in Tourist Garden Hotel, the LGU had no knowledge to allow the operations?
We don't have any knowledge, Attorney Karen, with regards to this operation of POGOs in this establishment, because as I said, in 2019, when I assumed as a mayor in 2019, we closely monitor on this establishment, and they're paying their business permit, the different business names. They have 6 different businesses.
Thank you so much, Mayor Ahong, for giving us information on the POGO raid in Lapu-Lapu City during the weekend, and for also giving us information on how you will prevent POGOs from operating there in Lapu-Lapu City.
Thank you po.
Next, we'll have PAOCC Director Winston Casio at the forefront. We'll be right back after the short break. Welcome back at the forefront. With us again, despite his busy schedule in Cebu, is Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission Director Winston Casio. Director Winston, thank you so much and welcome back at the forefront.
Thank you. Good morning from Cebu, Karen, to all your viewers.
Director Winston, have you discovered to which syndicate or group this illegal operation of POGO in Lapu-Lapu City is connected to?
Well, apparently, based on the interviews that we have conducted with the Indonesian nationals that were able to rescue here, as well as some of the Filipinos that we found here, they're apparently connected to the operations of the raided POGOs in Bamban and Porac.
Okay, so we seem to have gotten that impression earlier as well. Our correspondent, Nancy Carvajal, said that one of the Filipina workers at Tourist Garden Hotel was also previously a worker at Porac, Pampanga. So with that information, do you think that there are other POGO operations in Cebu? Okay. While we're trying to reconnect to Director Winston, we'll have to take a short break. At the forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the forefront. And we still have with us Director Winston Casio of the Philippine Anti-Organized Crime Commission. Director Winston, good morning.
Good morning, Karen. Sorry, I got disconnected.
Yes, thank you so much for still being there and connecting again. Okay, so before the break, we were asking you, the last question that we were on was the status of the POGO operations in Tourist Garden Hotel in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu. It seems that this is connected to the POGO operations in Porac, Pampanga. They even shared the same administrator, Filipina administrator that was working in Porac and was found as also working in Lapu-Lapu City. With that discovery, do you think there are other POGO operations in Cebu or Visayas?
Well, this discovery, well, we've known since after Porac that a good number of these POGO hubs, these camp farms, have relocated into different parts of the country. Yeah, and we've seen that a good number of them have come over to Cebu. We've also gotten reports that there are a number of them in Iloilo and Iloilo province, and a good number of them are all over Mindanao now. So we're not saying that all of these informations are accurate. We're simply saying that there are reports in these provinces, and we're calling on all of the LGUs, the local chief executives in those areas, to please check if there are indeed scam farms in their localities.
How many syndicates are you currently looking into, Director Winston?
Well, ma'am, based on the instructions of our Executive Director and our Secretary Gilbert D.C. Cruz, we're looking at a good number from a minimum of 58 to as high as 300 scam farms scattered all over the country.
And with that 300, that seems like such a huge number. Do you have any additional support when it comes to having to conduct raids in Mindanao, for example?
Well, ma'am, well, correct. The Philippine National Police and in most instances, the NBI and the Department of Justice, IACAT, and the Bureau of Immigrations are steady partners of the Commission. So, like, for example, here in Cebu, we were joined by the NBI Region 7 and the DOJ IACAT Region 7. Now, immigration has always been a steady partner with us, and we are thankful for all the efforts and for all the coordination that they have provided us. Likewise, we would like to call on the Philippine National Police and the NBI regional offices to do their own case build-up, because PAOCC on its own would not be able to go near the 300 that we're trying to neutralize all over the country, Karen.
Director Winston, how did the raid in Lapu-Lapu City come about? We heard information that the Indonesian government first sought the assistance of the Philippine government to rescue some Indonesian nationals.
Yeah, but even prior to the request from the Indonesian embassy, primarily the Indonesian police attaché, to help rescue 13 of their nationals here in Lapu-Lapu, we've already gotten information coming from our military intelligence personnel. They've been looking at this particular scam hub in Lapu-Lapu for more than 2 months now, if I'm not mistaken. Because bear in mind, Karen, when we raided the scam hub in Porac last June 7, a good number of them were able to escape because somebody leaked our raid. And by June 8, a good number of them have already moved into this particular scam farm. So if you indulge me, Karen, I would like to thank our operating units now, the National Bureau of Investigation Region 7 and the Department of Justice, IACAT, Interagency Council Against Trafficking in Region 7, and the Bureau of Immigration, because they really keep a tight lead on the information in relation to the raid. No leak, Nothing crept out, so to speak, and we're able to have a very successful raid now. Unlike the other operations that we've had, where information leaked from wherever, but here it was totally 100%. We kept the lead, so to speak.
So because there was no leak for this raid in Lapu-Lapu City, were you able to catch bosses or some of the big bosses that were related to the illegal POGO operations?
Yes, ma'am. We have in our custody one, as many as five to a few more bosses here in this particular scam farms. Karen, bear in mind, we were not only able to neutralize one, but we were able to neutralize three scamming companies within the same POGO compound. We were able to catch the owner, the Tourist Garden Hotel, and mind you, this guy is obviously guilty. He has already attempted to bribe me 3 times as of last night. He made his third attempt to bribe me to allow to just let him go. So obviously this guy is caught red-handed. And if I'm not mistaken, 4 different Chinese managers, team leaders were caught in this particular operation.
So Director Winston, it sounds like they were caught in flagrante delicto under our law. So are they now detained and being prosecuted? You don't need a warrant of arrest anymore, right? So are there cases that are already being filed against them?
Yes, ma'am. We're about to conduct our inquest in an hour and a half for those to be criminally charged. Likewise, we're processing them for biometrics with the Immigration Bureau, and we're hoping to conduct their immigration inquest also towards the late this afternoon. So we've got all the evidence we have to file qualified trafficking charges against the bosses, and we've got enough to file immigration charges against all foreign nationals. Attorney Karen, let me clarify. We were supposed to rescue 13, but we were able to find only 6 of the 13 Indonesian nationals who were being held against their will. Now, what happened to the 163? All the 163 will be charged for immigration violations. All of them are scammers. So this is not a rescue for all, but rather a rescue for the 6 out of the 13. The rest were all arrested.
When you say the rest were arrested, it was because they were voluntarily working for a scam hub.
Yes, ma'am. Only 6 out of the 13 were being held against their will. The rest were all working voluntarily here in this scam farm. So we're arresting them primarily for immigration violations, and as we proceed with the interview, because we will fly them into Manila later this afternoon. So as we proceed with interviewing them in the presence of their counsel or the public attorney's office, we will be able to determine who else we will charge criminally.
Are there also Filipinos that will be charged criminally for working in this scam hub?
Yes, ma'am. We will file criminal charges. If I'm not mistaken, we got 4 Filipino administrative staff, admin staff, and these 4 were recruited, imported, so to speak, or exported from Bamban and Porac. So I will make sure that they will be charged criminally, because we cannot have all of these Filipinos simply being relocated. You see, Karen, what happens here is, in the past, during the very first raid of PAOCC in August of 2023, we found so many Filipinos and we just let them go. For lack of material time, so to speak, we would not be able to file charges against them. In the next subsequent raid, we found them again in the different POGO hubs that we raided. So now we've told our officers that we will file criminal charges against all Filipinos, managers, admin staff, team leaders, to make sure that this would serve as a lesson. It would provide a chilling effect to all Filipinos working in scam farms. Don't work in the scam farms, because if we catch you, we will file charges against you.
Director Winston, NBI Director Renan Oliva said that the POGO operations that were discovered right now in Lapu-Lapu City came from an illegal POGO operation in Luzon. Was he referring to the POGO operations in Porac, or is there a different POGO operation being referred to?
It's referring to Porac and Bamban. Same as us, we have the same information. We obtained the same information from the Filipino nationals and the Indonesian nationals who we've interviewed here. So apparently, the Filipino admin officers were exported coming from Bamban and Lac South 99 in Porac. They left Manila again. Let me reiterate, they left Manila on June 8th, a day after our operations. And these people, the ones that we found here, this is 91 Chinese, 69 Indonesians, 6 from Burma, 1 from Indonesia, and 2 from Taiwan. These are remnants from Sunyu 1 in Bamban and Lac South 99 from Porac, Pampanga.
Director Winston, is it accurate that we received information that the NBI conducted this raid without informing the PNP?
Yes, ma'am. We kept the information to a very close-knit group. In fact, even among the operating units, we kept the flow of information to a minimum. Only a few prosecutors knew about this. In fact, I think only 2 prosecutors knew about it, and a very limited number of NBI officers knew about it. The rest of the NBI officers knew about the exact location of the raid only at the moment that we're about to strike.
Okay. Well, with the success of this raid without any leaks, would you say, Director Winston, that some of the leaks come from PNP itself?
I wouldn't have enough evidence to say that, ma'am. But I would say that because the money going around coming from these different offshore gaming operations, I can definitely say that they've got the money to corrupt people. Who these people that they have corrupted, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have evidence to say who they are.
Okay. Director Winston, when you conducted the raid in Tourist Garden Hotel, did you find any Filipinos that were working there, not in the scam hub, meaning as janitors or housekeeping or cooks, like any other profession in the hotel?
We found a good number of housekeeping personnel, kitchen personnel, what else? Security personnel as well. So these individuals have nothing to do with the operations of the POGO, so they would not be charged. In fact, they're about to be released today. Once we're able to fly into Manila, all of these foreign detainees.
So do you believe that it's possible that the LGU, we had Mayor Ahong earlier before you joined us today, he said that he believes the LGU was really not aware that there were illegal POGO operations in Tourist Garden Hotel. Do you believe that that's the case?
Well, we have no evidence either way, Attorney Karen. So I could not make a determination in relation to that question in the absence of evidence either way.
Okay. And do you have any updates on the whereabouts of Alice Guo?
Well, unfortunately, we've deferred. I would like to defer the answer to that question to the Bureau of Immigration, because now they are at the forefront of the tracking in relation to Alice Guo and to her sibling, Wesley Go. Now, likewise, based on the information I've obtained from the Department of Justice last week, they're also now in the process of obtaining a blue notice from the International Police. So my only appeal is to the Department of Justice panel of prosecutors who are evaluating the affidavit, the complaint that we have filed against Alice Guo et al. To please hasten, without adding pressure, to hasten the evaluation of the evidence presented. So if they find enough evidence to support our allegations against them, so that they would be able to bring the information to the court, then for the court to be able to issue the subsequent arrest warrant.
So Director Winston, as far as we know, former Mayor Alice Guo is still in Indonesia.
That's the latest information we have obtained, Karen, that is still within Indonesia.
Okay. Thank you.
Jakarta, for that matter.
Okay. Thank you so much, Director Winston Casio, for your time today, and good luck with the inquest proceedings that you will be attending about an hour from now.
Thank you, Attorney. Good day.
Always a pleasure to have you. PAOCC and NBI have conducted another big POGO raid in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu. It's the first major bust for PAOCC in the Visayas, and they believe that it is not going to be the last. PAOCC sees that taking it strong against POGOs across the country is the only way they can meet the deadline of the President to wind down all POGOs by the end of the year. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. Always stay at the forefront. Join us again tomorrow for meaningful conversations that would help you form an objective personal opinion. This is Attorney Karen Jimeno. Stay safe under the inclement weather that we have today.